Hello everybody, hope you're doing well, and this video is about this challenge right here. A little bit of kind of gameplay and guide, a little bit of that. And this, of course, as you can see, the Lagacy challenge, Tale of Two Kangs Part 1 is done. I'm going to go over some things that were good, some things that were bad, and also some tips I think will be really advantageous for you to know, including how to deal with the likes of Nightcrawler, for example, which, you know, is something you come across. Basically, use a 5-star Spider-Man. I decided to, well, mine's already ranked up and I did ascend it. I will talk about why I did that in a moment. But yeah, as you can see, that is done right there. And just by doing the singular task, it allows you to select her. And for this as well, it helps out to kind of choose some of the various champions that you may not have to take you along the way with doing the next challenges. It starts like this chain of events to help you out if you don't have any of the champions thus far. Now I have most of these. I don't think I have Jabari Panther. That's probably the only one I don't have, because I've got Hawkeye as a 6-star. I've got Iron Man as a 6-star. So I think that's Awaken for the first time. So I suppose that's helpful. It saves me an Awakening gem, which is great. But as you can see, you get yourself the lovely little piece of Deathless King Groot, and it has been, of course, labelled as one of the more easier ones to do. In, of course, you'll do all of them, and MSD is different gravy because I think he smashed them all out and done. Now, the Lagacy objectives are more fairer to the player, especially as it's all about a 5-star that you get right at the start. Yes, okay, Kabam kind of give you the thing to start off with, but the rank ups cost less to the player, and also the revive and the health potion ratio to getting more health and getting revived up, and obviously getting more health from that, is better. So it's more fairer in the regard of doing it. And also the signature stones, a lot more easier and cost effective to grab, and a lot more people have 5-star signature stones than 6-star ones. When it comes to the path side of things, the path that I opt to go with is a Luke Cage one. It starts off there because you've got that Toxicant. Don't get hit, I mean, that's the main thing, but also poison vulnerability. By hitting into the champion, so both the attacker's strikes have a 20% chance to apply a poison debuff, you're essentially just kind of building up. Just don't get hit, right? And you're absolutely fine. Easier said than done, because some things do happen. There's also, obviously we use Spider-Man for this one, the Stark Enhanced one. I decided, as I said, to ascend mine. Is that something I'd recommend? Not particularly. I just had to use some of the dust. So it's kind of like, look, do I leave dust to expire? Number one. Number two, do I add it to a champion that I still have to do 2 objectives for in the Carinas challenge? So I thought to myself, look, if it expires, no brainer, just put it on this champion. I'm cool with that. I think it was a good enough decision, especially because I don't really use it on any of the 5-stars. The 6-star ones are the most, the ones that I'm more kind of like interested in. And there's other things as well. Go and do an Apothecary run, grab some health potion, you know, go and do solo event, grab a revive, you know, do that stuff. And as I said, the ascending is optional. Also, awakening is optional, but I would say that it kind of improves the champion. Having the awakened champion either the above 50% or lower than 50% will give you different things. Great power, so taunt debuffs last 2 seconds longer, and each charge of poise grants them an additional X amount of the critical rating. So you do more damage or crit more if you kind of like want to look at that way. So it's always handy to be above 50%, but it's not like a deal breaker for the champion. The same way that if you're below 50%, Spider-Man's chance to evade and attack increases by a flat X amount, and his block proficiency is up. Handy when it goes into the boss fight, and look, it's a pretty kind of like standard thing with the champion. But in any case, let's go into some footage. I'll talk you through some footage now. Okay, so let's go. With the champion itself, of course, the kind of main thing about a champion is to build poise. Now, I don't build poise. Should I have done that? Probably. Is it worth doing? Yeah, okay, fine. But this is all about applying the poisons. I feel it's more kind of applicable to just play how you feel you want to play going up to the boss. The boss then is sort of a case of like building poise and doing more damage, because when you go into wounded, you want to do as much damage as possible. But of course, it's all about poison damage when you're building up on the path, which you can see right now. It's going to be optional which of the relics you use, whether or not you opt for the green Goblin one, which I've seen, Sentinel one, or what I've chosen, which is the Hulkbuster. I think there's 2 relics that give shock improvements, but it's just a case of having a relic that massively helps you out to just kind of, you know, go into stuff. But do bear in mind, because there's debuff immunity that pops up, like, that is still going to be frustrating if you're looking to do more shock damage. So it may opt for the relics that don't do that. And I'm not saying Vision, because it's got heal block, is going to be beneficial, because everybody except for Sabretooth is where that particular relic applies, if you want to agree with that or not. And again, like, is it advantageous to do or to have higher amounts of poise? Of course it is. But, you know, on this path, I really had to concentrate on the AI. Nowadays, you just got to be so careful about the way that AI functions and making sure, like, if I could save a revive without focusing too much on the poise side of things, because every time you evade or dex, you build a poise, which of course is going to help you out and help me out to kind of do more damage. However, though, because now I'm below 30%, because I did get clipped, and that's why I've got to watch and monitor the AI more than ever. I was happy with the way that I kind of approached this. But yes, build more poise, do more damage. That is how you're meant to really play Spider-Man Stark Enhanced. But it's all about trying to be comfortable and also doing fights that, look, if you make a mistake, it's over, and you got to be so careful. This is something here. I don't know if you saw that just there. I did get hit, but one thing that was important was switching Nightcrawler into swashbuckling mode. So what I did was I was looking to, whilst the champion, you go into the block and Nightcrawler's holding his block, he is then going to switch into swashbuckle mode. Because he's switched into swashbuckle mode, it means that it's more easier for me to damage without worrying about the champion evading. And that's something as well that I'm going to try and you'll see in this fight a little bit, like trying to keep the champion in swashbuckle mode is important. So I might get the blocked in order to try and, like, you know, get the champion to bait for the special. But you got to be so careful. Like, see there, you see the timer just went. It was kind of like it was going. So I needed to back off. I couldn't be as aggressive. I need the enemy to come at me. Mainly because I don't want him to switch into that Neophem mode, I think it's called, where he just evades all the time. And that's something, of course, the reason I'm playing it the way I am. Debatable again about playing it this particular way, but again, softly catchy monkey. If it's stupid and it works, then it's not stupid. And even though that my methodology of kind of approaching this is not the conventional way of playing the champion, building the poise, as we said, it works. And if it works and it's fine and it suits me, then I'm pretty happy and pretty chill with that. That there, I was clicking on to do the special, and it just, I don't know, there's like a dropped input there. But in any case, it's all about saving the day, and it's all about not trying to lose as many revives as possible on this particular content, and, you know, have it for the end boss. Emma Frost is a bit annoying. I would recommend putting on boosts just to kind of get through this fight, and I had to kind of like focus more on just, well, because the champion is able to suppress my evade, I just decided, I got very lucky there, I just decided to throw all and everything at it, because I was like, this is just going to frustrate me as much as possible, this particular fight, and I had to get it done. The final bit of footage is on to the Kang fight. Now, I did mess up in the second part. In the first part, I had a really decent run. I think I did like 50% damage, and I was really doing well. And then I started making mistakes. And the problem is, when you start making mistakes, it ends up costing you down the line. Not a huge amount, but it was like, look, a few revives on this particular section, mainly because I wasn't properly reading certain things, and that's something important. I don't know who this belongs to, this particular infographic, so my apologies. I think back in the day, I was sent it with like chopped up bits to it, and I couldn't verify where it was from. So whoever it's from, shout out to them, but apologies. This is years old that I've had this, and I'm just not quite sure where it's come from, but it's an amazing infographic. It could be MCOC Noob, it could be somebody else that's done this, but as I said, apologies, I just don't know where it's from. But in any case, right, this is brilliant because it gives you an indication of the different phases. In that you've got phase one, all about building up the champion's going to prompt you to do different things. Like if it goes out, as it says, like, you know, 1, 2, 3, and 0, have no power bars, have one special power bar, or throw the SP1, have 2 bars of power, or throw the SP2, or throw the SP3, or have an SP as 3 bars. Now, I made the mistake of not focusing too much on that, especially when it came to the phases 3 and downwards. I got phase 1 and phase 2 done pretty well. It's just a case of when I got to phase 3 and 4, I just stopped reading. Bad habit. Always make sure to read and pay attention to these, especially when you go into these different boss fights. Yeah, cool enough to get this done. Especially as you've got to be very careful to certain things. You know, SP1 dex equals power gain, SP1 block equals power drain. You might use that to be at the corresponding power bars. And yeah, you just got to be very careful. This champion is a lot of fun, as we're going to see in some of the footage right now. And on that phase 4, you've got to do an SP3. Use your relics for the right timing with that, which you're going to see in the video footage. Let's roll the footage. Here we go with the footage. I was going to speed this up, but every time I speed anything up on my PC with this editing software, it just crashes it. So I need to get a new PC, but that's a bane of my life. I need to save up for it now for hopefully the end part of this year. I can hopefully afford it. But look, you know, here's the thing. Kang Fight. A lot of fun. I am making mistakes in this video. That was a mistake right there. Obviously, I couldn't get round to that SP1 in the time. Sorry, SP3 in the time. But of course, it helps me out going into the next round, which you can see 2 there. Got 2 bars of power. My mistake is I held on to my bars of power. I've sped it across the time as well, just kind of like, you know, take the fight further into the phases. But yeah, I should have just thrown special attacks, and I'm holding on to an SP3 there in order to that last part of that wounded, just so I can maximize a bit more damage from it, which you can see right there, which is good. The way that, as I said, the way that I approached it was like, I obviously need to throw a special attack there because we're at 0, so I need to be 0 bars. Quickly throw another one to be on 0 bars, which I am, which is great. And I must admit as well, I forgot to say, shout out to Lagacy. He chose a brilliant champion for this. Absolutely brilliant. Great choice, because it's like a power control champion. It's equal classes, not class disadvantage. And this is actually one of my favourite fights. I like this fight against Kang, even though I do make some mistakes come the end of the fight. But look, here's my mistake. I'm not doing that so much, like using my block to power drain myself and also throw the corresponding special attack. Like here, I suppose it's advantage because we go into having 3 bars of power, which I'm already in. That helped out. That's the way you chain it. You kind of go, all right, well, I'll go from, I don't throw a special attack too, but I have 3 bars of power. Now it's a case of like, there's sometimes where I just don't, I made a real bad boo-boo there. Real bad mistake. But you know, mistakes happen with stuff. Also, throwing heavy attacks. I didn't throw that quite as much as maybe I should have done, and that's disappointing. On a plus side, I was building up my poise, and that's another reason why this fight is fantastic, is that with the likes of poise, and I should have thrown my special attack then and not kind of like build up the way that I was. So there's a few kind of like tells of mistakes. It's not a clean fight, but nonetheless, it did well. But I should have learned my lessons, but that's the problem with kind of like doing this fight when you haven't done it in a long time. You either remember the little trickery and things that you're meant to be doing, or you don't. In this final phase, which is coming up, this is the most important one, especially as we're going to jump to the point in which we're going to build up for an SP3. The AI isn't too bad with the specials, like it throws specials. Sometimes, like there were some times it just didn't work out and I was getting really annoyed by it. You can see there we're in the phase complete and we're just about to go into the final phase. This is the one where you got to throw an SP3. And you can see like what I did was I'm building up as well my relic. My approach to this last particular section was that relic is going to have to be important. You can see there, like I'm going to have to be on the front foot there, or kind of like build up I got to build up poise as well. That's one thing. I get very fortunate with this moment because I'm like, okay, aggressive, throw relic, go back in, build. I maybe should have done I don't know if I could power control then. If I should have just kind of like heavy attacked to save myself, but I don't know if I could actually do that. In any case, it doesn't matter. Stupid and it works. It's not stupid. And there we go. That's that. But yeah, it's all done. Thank you very much for watching this video. And yeah, I had a lot of fun doing this. I'll see you in the next Carinas challenge-based video. I don't know when. Might have some time over the weekend, but I've got to do Battlegrounds and so many other things in-game. Thanks for watching. See you soon. Bye-bye.